everyone. Welcome to day 2. Please take a seat when you can. There's quick announcements, coffee in the back, as I mentioned. And the Tap It giveaway for the Fest for the Prize will be at 1 o'clock today. So everybody get ready. Either that or Puppy Palooza. You have to make your choices. This is Asya. She's our moderator. I'll let you introduce everybody in a second. I'm going to take about a minute to introduce myself. My name is Skip Martin. So you guys have maybe seen me perform last night. Just kidding. My name's Nathan. I'm your MC. I'm your MC today, but last night was pretty amazing. I grew up, as we all did, probably listening to Kool and the Gang. I remember specifically, thanks to Skip, it brought back memories of Tiffany Kaufman, 6th grade. I did like this whole specific dance for her at recess, and it just failed miserably. So Skip, wherever you are, thanks for the trip down memory lane. Quick shout out to Lori and her amazing team, Phoebe and Mia. Everybody, round of applause. This is my second time at FestForum. I came last year, and I was so impressed with the intimacy of this group, all the relationships, all the great conversations I had with so many people, and some crazies, a couple crazies in the crowd. But overall, it was so inspiring, and it was amazing to be here, and I'm privileged to be on the stage as your MC today. As for me, really quick, I'm a failed attorney turned producer, writer, spent 15 years in LA in TV and digital media, which basically means I have no discernible skills. But storytelling has always been like the through line of my life. I now am the founder of Megilla. We're a video software company helping fans and festivals collect user-generated content for marketing purposes, demographic, content, data collection, all of that. We work with Broadway shows, regional theaters, festivals, museums, nonprofits, all of that. So it's a big honor to be here, and I look forward to meeting every single one and having an hour-long conversation to learn your entire life stories. Take it away.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. My name is Asya Shein-Alexander, and I'm the founder and CEO of Fusicology. We promote global soul music. Check us out. And I am really happy and honored to be presenting this panel with you guys. To my immediate left is CJ Milan, who is the founder and CEO of Reggae Fest and Epic League Entertainment. Jabari Johnson, an old friend of mine, the founder and CEO of Colors Worldwide and R&B Only. And Jacob Tell, the founder and CEO of Aniracom, I messed that up, thank you, Aniracom, and LoDo Studios. It's good to have you guys. This panel is called Marketing to the Middle. So basically, how do you market when you're not Coachella? And we had a nice little chat, and basically we wanted to discuss, maybe starting off with the effective marketing tools like social and traditional media, artist engagement, and maximizing your festival brand awareness.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so for me, what works for us is Facebook and Instagram. It's actually amazing. We don't really do flyers and things like that anymore, and also it's a word of mouth. But I believe if you could figure out Facebook and Instagram, number one, they make so many changes. Like every 6 months is another change, and then you have to figure it out. So you really got to pay attention to that. What worked 6 months ago most likely won't work now. So you just got to stay and engage. And to me, also find out in every city, are they on Facebook or Instagram? Because every city is different and every country is different as well. So for me, that works. Oh, wait a minute, the emails too. Always get your emails if you can. If you are in a Ticketmaster venue, ask for Universe, because I know you know about that. But if you can keep your data, that helps you out a lot as well.
To piggyback off what CJ is saying, I think a big part of how we market, our shows, for a little bit of context, Colors Worldwide, we like to think of ourselves as a genre amplification company. So we take underserved genres and try to expand offerings in those genres. So our first flagship brand was R&B Only, and now we produce shows that are DJ driven, but all around the country, as well as music festivals, where we do something a little bit unique where at our music festivals, we don't announce artist lineups because we tour so much and we've developed a big fan base on our own. all of our music festivals are surprise artist performances. So that's something that's a little bit different in like the festival community. But how we market really is, you know, to piggyback off what CJ's saying, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and I think there are some core principles that we do that's a little bit different than what a lot of festival producers do. But early on, I realized that if talent is not going to be like a driving force of getting people in the building and buying tickets, then I'm going to have to show people what the experience looks like and what type of time they're going to have at the event. So we really turned the camera from what was happening on stage to what's happening in the crowd. And having a variety of creative with not just organic social, you know, posting stuff up from an event, but then seeing what's working on organic social and then putting paid advertising dollars behind that and then running various campaigns. That's a huge thing that keeps us fresh with our community, that keeps people engaged. And now we just have a library of content. You know, some of my media team is in here right now, and literally over the past 2 to 3 years, we've sent a videographer to every single show that we do, and we're doing upwards of 80 shows a year, and every single show has somebody there capturing content, and we now have too much content. You know, like we can't even put the amount of content that we have out, and it's very specific. I think a lot of event promoters and producers, you know, people are stuck in this sort of, I'm gonna shoot a recap video of my festival. I'm gonna shoot a recap video of what happened. And, you know, sometimes that content does work and there's a world in which, you know, people are interested in that, but you have to meet the audience where they're at. They're looking at stuff for 5 seconds, 6 seconds, and it's okay to just put like, when some of your artists come out for your festival, literally like film the walkouts of them walking out and just hitting the stage and the crowd erupting. You'd be surprised at just like putting a 5 to 10 second clip of an artist walking out. It gives people sort of like a glimpse at what they might not see from, you know, the stage if they're in the crowd. I think just like really showcasing things that, how people are going to feel and what they can expect will take you a long way versus like, you know, press photos from an artist who's gonna be there. That type of stuff is like old.
Right on. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. All right. I got a green light, I don't know. Yes. All right, hope you're all caffeinated out there. So Nericom, my marketing company, we go back to the music industry in the early 2000s and really pre-social media days. We've seen that the landscape and the ecosystem change a ton over a couple of decades, but really the core principle, what you said, the email addresses and your website are the properties that you own and operate fully. You don't know what I hate to use the word meta, but I'll say it. You don't know what Meta is going to do in terms of, you know, changing their algorithm, their policies, how they deal with data, or if, you know, Twitter's going to rebrand to X tomorrow. But you do know that your emails and your website are, you know, properties that you can own and operate. So our philosophy really from the beginning has been, you know your audience, identify who they are as best you can, and then really super serve your super fans. So find a cohort of like super fans that are going to be your best potential ambassadors, and just give them, you know, things that they dream of, you know, access to the artist, whatever that may be, VIPs, meet and greets, backstage interactions, or just special content. And, you know, at the end of the day, I love the user-generated content model as well, because the ones that are going to be the most rabid super fans are the ones most willing to also, you know, produce their own clips and content, and then you can leverage that back to create like a feedback loop. But really, we're looking at, you know, can we maximize the fan-artist relationship, and can we bring them back into like a loyalty loop, and maximize what, you know, what engagement we get out of them. So.
Touching on, oh, sorry, now this isn't working. Can you hear me? There's another one. Check, perfect. Sorry. Touching on like street teams and like more of that, old school kind of thing. Do you guys still find that to be effective in marketing your events at all? I know you mentioned you don't really do flyers anymore like that.
Well, I think times have changed. I think people don't even want to take flyers from anyone anymore after COVID. I just think social media is the wave right now. Also, if you are, filming your show, we put so much on our stories during an event. People love that and engage, and you have no idea who's watching it. Especially me and Jabari both are all around the country right now. So someone could be watching New York, and Vegas is coming up in 2 weeks. They're getting hyped for Vegas. Or you're watching Vegas, then you get hyped for Miami. So for LA, London, Toronto, everywhere. So and also just engage with your crowd. Be cool about it. Speak to people. Meeting people and talking to them, they will love to support you. We have people like big festivals that they don't know who's behind it. When you're small, you can meet people and talk to people, but we don't know who runs this, who runs that. It's a corporation. So it's like me and Jabari, we are out there and we meet people and we speak to them. And I think it's the base of getting to know your crowd. They will love you and support you. So social media, speaking to people, finding out what they like. Just go by the bar and say, hey, I'm the owner of Reggae Fest. They love that. So I think you really need to know who's there, speak to them, and give them an experience. Just don't give them an event. Give them something, you don't know what people are going through in life, and you don't know they escape from their world to go to your event for 5 hours, and you change their life because those problems, they're not thinking about them anymore. So just give them that experience, and they're going to take away something and feel good about themselves, and I guarantee you they're going to come back.
Yeah, I think on the street team thing, I think it really just depends on where you're at. I don't see a way to measure the return on ad spend with like radio, TV, stuff like that, right? So it's now marketing dollars are tight. Everybody knows like we don't have, just even 5 years ago, it's like stuff you have to be able to be measured in your spend and really see like what's working. So we're always gonna lean towards something where we can at least track and see, okay, this is how many registrations that led to this amount of conversions, and so I think that paid social is probably always going to be number one, but I will say that we just did an arena show in Philadelphia last week, and the arena that we played in was called the Liacouras Center, and it's on Temple University's campus. And one of the things that we found out from the venue was that there's just so much foot traffic. There's students walking by every day, and a lot of these students wanted to get tickets from the box office because they wanted to escape some of the ticketing fees. And if we didn't have that conversation with the venue, now we know, okay, next time we should, have them be able to do that, So, but that was really venue and city and neighborhood specific, and next time we'll probably reach out to some of the student organizations and get them involved. So I think it really depends on where you're at and what alternative marketing strategies you can use.
And Jacob, you're hyper local, so maybe you can touch on what works for you as being like, somebody that's from Santa Barbara and really ingrained in the community.
Sure, yeah. Before I go into that too, I do want to say about COVID, I think one thing we got out of it was the resurgence of QR codes. So I think there is a reason to have physical collateral that you want to add some value to it and not just be a QR code on a flyer, but if you can actually, make it more fun, gamify it, a scavenger hunt, or, tie it to a digital download, or do something where there's a purpose or a reason to scan it. I do think that like going back to the old values of street team, in a modern context is great, especially if you can track with a bit.ly link or some other kind of trackable link, that you can get some metrics on how those QRs are used, and then weigh that out against your other media spends, and you can see what the ROI potentially was for that. The other thing I'll say is on like Instagram, etc. If you create like really easy to post kits, PNGs and JPEGs of whatever you want your quote street team or your ambassadors or your super fans to post on your behalf, make it really easy. Like, here's a folder of all the images for the regular feed posts, here's your stories, here's your reels. I think people will do that as well for a certain festival or artist if they have that kind of relationship with it. Just take the guesswork out of it, make the messaging and the creative exactly what you want to be. But yeah, back to the local, we do a lot of events here in Santa Barbara. We create community, we've built, several event series, and I think for us it's about consistency and it's about partnerships. So trying to get sponsors, trying to get localized, thinking really of it as a rising tide lifts all ships. So if we're highlighting, like the Bonafide Nitro Coffee guys upstairs, A+ stuff, thanks to Spencer for that. We used to have them at our venue. Like those kind of partnerships can actually create stories around the experiential that you're trying to create. So I think it's about really building a network of partners and sponsors.
Can I add to the QR code
Please.
thing? So on the QR code thing, we go to a ton of events just to be inspired and always at other people's concerts. I think QR codes are so underutilized, and even from what we were doing, we just recently, like we used to have social images up around the venue where when people come in, we're encouraging them to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, which all you should be doing, at R&B only, please. Always marketing. And yeah, so we decided to flip that literally last week, and we noticed from our data that like roughly around like 20% of people that buy tickets to our shows were not living in like the metropolitan area. They were traveling because we tour around the country, and sometimes the value proposition for the fan is just, I want to experience an R&B only show in this place that I've never been to. So I'm gonna like travel, but also experience something from a trusted brand that I really like. And so we started putting up QR codes now, and it says, the call to action is very specific. It's like, experience the show in another city. And it's just, now we have the data, we can track how many people did that, and after, 20 shows, we can really start to see if this is worth it and, what the return is on that. And the beautiful thing about this is it is absolutely free, because we're just putting a QR code that people can scan that have already, got tickets to the show. There's no spend there.
Of course. One thing, when you are running ads, go and read the comments on your ads. You'll learn a lot from, because they're going to have questions. A lot of times people don't engage, they'll run an ad and never answer the questions that people have. I think that's very important. They'll say, hey, how much is this? What's going on here? Just say something. Don't leave them hanging. If you engage in things like that, they're going to really appreciate it, because they'll say, thank you so much, because a lot of people don't. If you go to a big festival and look at comments, just go on Instagram. They don't respond.
So true. So true.
They just leave them hanging. And what you don't want to do that. And they really appreciate. This woman hit me up today about, hey, I need bottle service in London, and I haven't even started promoting it. So I was just like, but because my website is updated with all the cities, they're already on it. And she's from, I think, Boston or something, but she's already on it. But if your website, and please have your website updated, the day after a show, make sure your guys take the last event down. Because sometimes people have events up there from a couple of months ago, if you look. And sometimes I want to tell promoters, but I don't, they might take it funny, Reggae Fest trying to tell me what to do. So I just mind my own business. But it's really smart, and you have to update your website and your social media. Don't have an old email that doesn't exist. Just make sure you do little things like that, because they really do matter.
To get into sponsorships, and I know you have an interesting take on it, what has worked well for you? How do you feel about it? I know that for me, it's not easy, but when I get it, it's really great. But it does take a lot of coddling and a lot of back and forth. How do you guys feel about sponsorships, and what has worked and maybe not worked for you?
Yeah. So So yes, I mean, we've been, R&B Only is in its 7th year. We've sold over 500,000 tickets to all of our shows. And we have gotten, I think, over the course of that time, maybe 1 sponsorship, Sonia? Yeah, 1. That's not because we, haven't reached out. That's not because we haven't, put together all types of press kits and sent stuff. It's really, to me, I think it's like a lack of understanding about how big this community is that we have, and I think we're just kind of like overlooked in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I kind of knew that, and I didn't build the business around sponsorship. Like I just wanted to build a viable business, without, especially post-COVID. Like if a global pandemic can take us down, I don't want like someone else's budget to be the thing that stops my business from growing and working. So yeah, and then also, I think that trying to garner sponsors, the time that it takes, the back and forth, obviously just all of the negotiation, oftentimes like I can put my team and myself to work on like something else that will probably generate the same amount of money, if not more, and for like a longer amount of time than the time it takes for a sponsor. So that's I think that's a little contrarian to how a lot of event promoters and producers run the business, but that's just how I look at sponsorship. It's kind of like if it comes and if it's kind of easy to do, and if most importantly, if it serves the audience. Like we've turned down a lot of sponsors. We've had a lot of big brands, try to work with us, but I don't want to try to figure out how to put a Toyota car outside of every single venue, and try to sell this to the people that come to our shows. It's just quite a headache. So yeah.
I'm a piggyback. I wanted him to go because he's passionate about that. Me and Jabari are very good friends, by the way. For Reggae Fest, we received one that was actually pretty awesome. That was from Adidas. The woman, she DM'd me actually, and I thought it was fake. I was like, this isn't Adidas. I didn't know who it was. But she was actually from Adidas, and they actually was amazing. They just transformed the venue into, because Jamaican culture in soccer is big. So they put together an amazing package, and the venue and everything, the experience was epic. It really was. And that was really awesome because they said, how much do you want? Which I was like, that is awesome. But I didn't kill them because I wanted to continue to work with them because they were just so amazing. When you're from our communities, we don't get the sponsorships like others get. It's just, I don't know if they don't see the worth that we're worth it, but we really are because our ticket sales are ridiculous. Jabari is, me and him, I think we're the only 2 doing it like this. I'm not sure, I think there's another company, but we both decided to travel with our tours. I started in New York and we're everywhere. And since we do really well, we kind of just take care of ourselves. It would be awesome to maybe have a sponsor, but it's just like they give us a couple of them. You'll get a red stripe or something like that. You'll get something that's not that they're going to give to a Rolling Loud or to a Coachella. We're overlooked because of our community. I'm going to be honest with you. If we cater to other crowds, and my crowd is very diverse, but they look at us as a urban thing. To me, like I said yesterday, music is universal. It's not a color. At the end of the day, there's people all walks of life in our events. Don't put us into a box. I believe in spending. Our community is huge in spending. What is it?
Like 1.7, 1.8 spending power, $trillion.
And they just overlooked that. We're awesome. We love culture. We're amazing people. I mean, hey, you love us on the basketball court, don't you? Or football, right? So give us a chance in our events. We're pretty awesome. Me and him, oh my gosh, our numbers are ridiculous. They really are, but they overlook us, you know? But hey, we're awesome. We're not the big guys. We're the little guys. Just like you guys, you're the little guys, right? And if people was to give us a chance, we could be so much bigger, you know? So sponsorships, if they come, it's awesome. If they don't, we're gonna rock with it and still sell out. Because me and him together have probably, oh my God, it's crazy. We sell out a lot, but we're cool with that because at the end of the day, we worked hard, we got here by ourselves, and we love what we do. Yeah.
Right on. Thanks for sharing. To Jabari's point, I think it's really about relationships, and if you don't have somebody in that role who's going to cultivate relationships with sponsors over time, then it usually either falls by the wayside or someone's wearing an extra hat. You know, one of the latest ventures that we launched out of our agency is actually called District 216. It's a psychedelic social club here in town, and it's a new space. We've worked in cannabis, but you know, working in the psychedelic ecosystem, you know, a lot of potential brands and organizations kind of don't necessarily want to associate yet. It's early. So we've had to really think about, you know, what is the makeup of the audience and what value is going to be added back to the sponsor. At the end of the day, we want it to be like an authentic relationship. We wanted them to show up to where there's value being added in every direction, ideally. So someone there that's relevant to the crowd, and then the crowd that's relevant to the sponsor. And so that can be a challenge. It can take 2 or 3 or 4 events before you really start to lock those relationships in. So capturing content, really showing the experience, being able to play a sizzle video back. You know, if you had a relationship that's just starting, you're cultivating, and they're not quite into it yet, come back to them after you've done that first event or second event and show them through media like what you've done. And don't give up on the relationship if you really do want them to be there. And also be willing to negotiate. I mean, we have these beautiful decks with all these tiers and trying to get sponsors to lock into one of those, but at the end of the day, you're probably gonna need to negotiate and make something customized for them.
Yeah, one more note on the sponsorship is like, the first thing, before asking somebody for a check, I would just invite them to the experience. You know, just have them really come to your show and see what you offer. See, it's get on the phone with people, obviously, but like we need, you know, we're people who put on amazing events in this room. So, you know, like if your event is truly worthy of something, then you have to have people come and experience that firsthand, see it, live it, breathe it, and you know, I think you'll be a lot closer to obtaining a sponsorship after that.
Moving on to ticketing, you mentioned, you know, Universe. Obviously, there's a lot of contention with fees, and there's a lot of ticketing companies, and I get emailed about once a week. And I'm not an event promoter like that, so I kind of just ignore it. But I don't know how they all exist, and I'm just being real about it. Touch on, I mean, maybe start with you, CJ, of what have you had, you know, have you had success with certain ticketing platforms? How do you feel about these fees? You know, give me the lay of the land from your side.
Well, Eventbrite to me is, they gave me a really great deal so I wouldn't leave them, so I love them right now. But just playing. But me and Jabari both have been, companies have offered us some serious money to leave. Certain companies and stuff like that, but like heavy money. But sometimes there's certain companies that if you check out their platforms, they aren't that good. So you gotta be really careful about that when you guys, if you wanna leave, you just go, and also you could look for the complaints that if they work, they don't work. Even if they try to give you $500,000, you just don't know if that platform is gonna work for you. You gotta get your emails. That is so important. Now there's Ticketmaster, of course, their fees are crazy. It's just like another ticket. It really is. So there's an option that you can say, hey, I would rather use Universe since they purchased Universe, which is great. Because you have a lot of control too. Because the one thing about it, it's hard to explain to people, listen, this is my thing. I want everybody to be able to afford to go to my event. Not everybody is making a lot of money. Some people are on minimum wage, some people are doctors. But there's people in the middle who are just trying to make ends meet. So if you have, let's just say we're starting off at a $25 ticket, and next thing you know it's $40, for a DJ show, they're going to be questioning that. And that makes or breaks, because people could go somewhere for free. Me and Jabari, we don't do free, I'm gonna tell you that right now, but people do free, but we just don't speak that language. I'm gonna tell you why I don't do free as well. You know that women love to buy things, right? Women don't like free stuff too much. Do you ladies? Do you like free? Not really. You want to pay for something. You respect something you have to pay for versus getting it for free. That's how you guys are. You guys like to pay. If you do stuff for free sometimes, people can always get it for free. Like, I could get that for free. I don't need to go there. But if you put a price tag on something, she's going to be interested for paying because this costs money. So I want to buy it. So remember that, because some people you do free, but once you do free, anybody can go anytime they want, and they can go anywhere else for free. So just always remember that, at least charge them something. Now, ticketing companies, you can negotiate anything you want to, believe it or not. You got to know somebody at Live Nation, somebody at Ticketmaster, just have a conversation, and usually they might go work it out with you. Because some people aren't going to pay $15 for a fee. And that is a lot. And sometimes it's 20, and sometimes the higher it goes. You saw those Beyonce tickets, right? Those Ticketmaster fees were insane. And I work with them. I worked with Live Nation. I get it. But at the end of the day, those fees can make or break you. I would say try Universe, try an Eventbrite, have a conversation with the venue. Sometimes they will say, okay, you could use it, but you got to pay me a little $2 for that facility fee. But there's nothing wrong with having that conversation, because those ticket fees can make or break you. They really can. And I wish they come up with something where we can meet in the middle, or have something for people who are not big concerts, so people can be able to afford them. Because I sometimes drop my ticket prices just to make up. I'm doing that on an event right now, just because I feel bad. You know, I'm taking my prices down to I would never, but I know they got to pay that $15 fee. And so I really think about if I was someone who needs to buy a ticket, because back in the days, I couldn't buy certain things, you know? So me knowing how my budget was back in the days, it could be, people really not everybody just makes what we make. And I think it's very important. Money is great, but we got to work together where everybody can afford these tickets, because I care. I love making money, but I care more about people. And I think there needs to be a conversation where they can make something work. That's all I have to say, guys.
Man, ticketing. Man. All right, so I think there's two types of ticketing situations. If you are, producing a festival or a show in an open field and you have to bring everything and it's not a venue per se, you have the luxury of using whatever ticketing you want. So some of you guys may fall into that category here. CJ and I, we do shows primarily in venues that already have ticketing agreements. Whether they're a Live Nation, AEG, or a independent, even an independent, typically has a ticketing deal. And so, we're going into places with existing infrastructure and then bringing our experience there. And I'm just gonna get on a little soapbox real quick, because I personally think the way that this business is run in America is insane. When we produce events, we are always renting a venue. So we're assuming the risk, we are forewalling it, and we to me, in that type of instance, we should be able to use whatever ticketing company we want. I don't understand how, when you are taking over a space, you are still beholden to the venue's sort of like rules and agreements with whatever ticketing company that they have decided to do a deal with. With that being said, you have to just try to find out what works best. We have a unique situation with Live Nation and Ticketmaster and Universe, and I think that it works for us for now when we're in those rooms. But I just think about the upcoming promoter and producer. They are beholden to these Ticketmaster rules and fees, and as CJ said, it really does hurt, because sometimes you're looking at 30% of the ticket cost in a fee, and I mean, with many fans, they're just like abandoned cart. You'll never see them again, and so I don't know what the real answer or solution is, because this is kind of like the big bad wolf that you have to deal with when you're in this business. But I do think that maybe one of the ways that you can kind of circumvent this is I would suggest that everybody who's doing an on sale, and when you're getting people ready for that moment where tickets go up, you should really focus on what happens before the on sale. So, it's called lead generation, and trying to get people to sign up for the on sale so you can have even more data than just the people who have purchased tickets to your show. Incentivizing people to give you their email, their phone number, maybe some other demographic info. At least you will then be able to retarget. You'll be able to market to them. You'll be able to do other things outside of just the people that have bought tickets. That's what I would say is pretty important as well.
Quick follow-up before maybe Jacob. What do you guys think of Dice? Because it is a British company, and I think that might have been who you were talking about, because they've been cutting crazy checks. I don't even know where they have all this money.
No, that was we
someone else.
Well, what we're doing in London is, I always negotiate. So half will be, I believe, on, I think it might be Dice or is another company, but half will be on Eventbrite. Everything's negotiable, so you guys can always, negotiate. It does work.
Do you like Dice? Because I know it's
I never
more of a
used it.
it's a
I'm not paying.
discovery, and also the other one is Spotify and Bandcamp have now joined forces. What do you guys? I mean, is there something there? Do you feel that there's? I don't know.
In London it's Ticket Gateway in London. No, in Toronto. So there's a lot of ticketing companies, and Dice, I haven't experienced with them yet. Like I said, Ticket Gateway, haven't, but I have to for Toronto. Is there any other ones?
I mean, I think a ticket company is a ticket company is a ticket company. Like, to be very honest, some of them may have better UX, and some of them, they may have one less step for the consumer, which is all important, before the checkout is completed. But honestly, I think you just when you have your consumers on one ticket company one day, and then another the next day, and then another the next day, I think what other business does that? You know what I mean? Like, when you buy clothes from H&M, you go through their process online, and that's how they know about you as a consumer. The second you have a ticket here and then a ticket here and a ticket there, you just lose the data and analytics about your consumer, and it's hard. It's just really hard when ticketing is all over the place. But that's really I don't like this ticketing.
It doesn't sound like you do.
I mean, they pretty much summed it up. I would say like Dice or UBM or UB or some of these other, where you have maybe like a feature or two where they're giving the discovery. Even Eventbrite has discovery, where if you become a follower of a certain event series or a certain genre, or you're in a certain geographic boundary, then they'll help with discovery. I think if you're big enough to have leverage with those types of groups to say, we need our data, that's the biggest thing. That's the key takeaway from this. If you're screwed and you're in with AXS or Ticketmaster, then you really need to focus on that 10% fan club ticket. Do pre-sales, do a fan club, and the key for that, if you're going to go back to that ethos of super serving your super fans, bundle merchandise with your tickets, bundle experiential with your tickets. Add value. People are willing to pay. I mean, to CJ's point, like, you see a price tag that's even more, you're kind of intrigued, like, well, what do I get with that? Oh, it's VIP, I get a t-shirt too? All right, cool, I'll spend the extra $25 and have a little strip of lawn in the front and get my shirt. So, that I think, if you're bigger and you're dealing with the big boys, then this is not the stage to solve that problem. But,
You guys think that there's just a plethora of ticketing companies? And I mean, do you think that there's going to be maybe mergers? I mean, it does seem like there's a lot.
There's a lot. They email me once a week. And usually they're from another company who doesn't work for Live Nation anymore, or they don't work for it. It's usually they just hop around. Hey, but guys, one good thing, let's say you have a Ticketmaster show and you don't get no data. Let me tell you, I'm going to peep you some free game real quick. Have a contest, give away something. Say, hey, give me your emails, we're going to have a contest. I did that for a venue and I got 4,000 emails. I'm going to do that for an arena show too coming up. I decided, let me have a big after party with some of the artists for Reggae Fest.
You've got a big event coming up this summer in New York, right?
Barclays Center, yeah. Barclays Center I'm doing a super lineup that's only in Jamaica. So I'm bringing the artists here. They all agree, no egos and everything. So what I'm doing is I'm having a big after party. And guess what? For that after party, we're giving away 20 sets of tickets to the after party for your emails. Because guess what? Barclays Center is not giving me emails. Guys, that's 16,000 emails. That's a lot. And for that weekend, people fly in from all over the country, and piggybacking off him, you guys would be amazed of where people come from for your events. They fly in from all over the world for your events. You just don't realize who you guys touch. And I love the people who come everywhere with us. Like, they travel with us I'm like, where do you work? You have all this time off, But they're supporting us from all over. So I would say figure out ways to get your emails just in case you can't get them. And you can, even if you have to somebody, I know people don't want to sign up outside, but just give them something. And it really works, but you really need your emails. You really do.
I think something that might be even more important than the ticketing discussion is, like, what are you doing with the emails after the event, and how are you organizing this stuff? And we use a CRM tool called Tradable Bits, and it's specifically built for people who produce events and sports teams and stuff like that. So I think that how you're looking at all this data and then making decisions that are data driven to then drive your next events and your next events and your next events, I think that's incredibly important as well.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to open it up to, go ahead.
Tradable Bits. And Sean from Tradable Bits is right there with his hand up. So you guys should talk to him.
Cut the check, Sean.
Real quick, I'm going to say one thing. Hey, guys, make sure when you do save your emails, make sure you have them listed under the country, under what city you're at. Don't have like New York and LA and Toronto together, because you're going to drive those people crazy. Make sure you actually have them for each one, and that's good to know, unless it's a big event like Barclays Center. I'm going to hit the nuclear bomb, bam, and you're all going to know about it, but just keep that in mind. And also, you got their emails. Follow up and see how they liked your event. Little things like that. Hey, you could change this. I didn't like this, But follow up. Every now and then I email and I text people and I ask them, and they love when you give them a little interview. What did you like? What did you do? What you didn't like? But really try to have some sort, even if it's like 2 or 3 people, just do that. You learn a lot about your crowd and what they want. So I would do that.
I think we're going to go open up for Q&A, right? Should I give the mic to people? Would they come up here? That's cool. So if anyone wants to come up here, we'll take some questions and answers. Thank you.
Anyone have questions?
Jabari, I've done a show with you before, Brooklyn Bowl, Vegas. Always really respected your business model because I had no idea who y'all were. Came through aggressively, sold out the venue, I'm pretty sure. Heard you guys talk about social media, street teaming, all that kind of good stuff. But like, what's like where's the hidden feature? Like, as opposed to just doing contesting, posting, organic, reels, what's worked for you to like get your data? Because I know your data is strong.
When you say hidden, do you mean like?
Like for an example, people would contest, right? They'd be like, repost, share, and we'll at random pick a winner. And then, somebody gave me the brilliant idea of make it the last person who likes, comment, and shares, because then it keeps driving the contest further and further. Have you found like little secrets like that have helped you with your data? Because I know your fan base is, strong and dedicated for, like you said, an event that has no real headline talent.
Yeah. I think incentivizing the on sale, to be honest. Like, so we say, hey, the on sale is going to be the lowest price that it will ever be, and like we really message that and let people know that like that is only going to last for a certain time window. And then we have like timers on the website, and like even there's ways to put like timers in emails, or and then we're sending out reminders that, hey, this is going to expire in a certain time. And I think just like gamifying that process, but leading with urgency is what gets people to commit early for us. I think that's probably like the number one thing.
Hi, my name's Matisi. Thank you so much for your time. I do marketing consulting for artists, and I have a background in virtual music festivals. And I find everything that you're saying about data acquisition, especially with emails, very interesting. I wanted to ask about buyer behavior. Do you find that mostly when you have somebody's email that they're a repeat consumer, or do you find that it's a point of outreach from an activation or a poster or something like that? What is the best way to make that accessible? And kind of a sub-question, especially for like festivals that only happen or per region, probably like once, maybe 2 events a year. How do you make sure to continue optimizing that email service so that nothing of what you're sending them goes to the spam folder when you do come around for that next year, to make sure that the repeated events are successful?
Okay, yeah, that's an amazing question. And I'm gonna tackle the second one first. When you are doing an event that is once a year, I think it's really important to think of yourself as not just a concert promoter, but like how can you be a media business as well? What are things that you can do throughout the year that, we like the media business of our business literally doesn't even make money, you know what I mean? Like but we have a podcast where we talk about R&B music and culture, and we have a Man on the Street series where we literally like take, Jovi, and we send her to literally like competing festivals and brands that are like doing anything related to R&B, and then she interviews like artists at those festivals and talks to fans at those festivals, and then we put that up on our socials, right? And I think it's like stuff like that that's engaging the community outside of just asking them for money when you go on sale. Like you have to be engaging them in another way. So I think like the media element, that's one. To your first question, looking at who's repeat customers, I think that's when the CRM comes in handy, like really understanding the data and looking at it and saying, all right, year on year, we have this percentage of repeat customers. Maybe you have to segment the audience and you have to talk to the repeat people or the people who have come before and incentivize them with a discount code for their loyalty and stuff like that. So, yeah, I would say CRM and thinking about how you can utilize media in the off season.
I would say on Eventbrite, they actually send you out beginning of the year your repeats. And ours are pretty high, a very high, real high percentage. I believe like in LA, we'll do at least the same 50%, and then we have 50% new. but you actually have that information. You should be able to figure that out. I don't know which ticketing you guys use, but you can kind of figure that out. Plus, it's also paying attention to who's walking in the room and knowing who's there. I can look at my crowd and say, oh, I know this person, I remember this person. So I think it's engagement as well. But I say if you do something good and nobody else is doing it, they're always going to come back. Even if you wait a year from now, I'm scared to do one city once a year. I'm going to need an arena if I do that. We average like 4 or 5 times a year. We don't just do it, we keep on going. In New York at home, we're there once a month. We have to be because the police have told me to do not do that. We did that one time, we shut down Times Square. It literally shut down because I said, oh, let me just do this party and I'm gonna just take some time off. And the lines did not stop and they had to block it off. So at the end of the day, when you're giving somebody something amazing, that experience, like I said, they're going to come back. And that's how profits come, by repeat customers. Listen, don't kill them with the emails, but just, just check in on them and see how they're doing,
Totally agree with Jabari. I would say that like giving over taking, right? If the 9-to-1 rule on social media should also apply to your newsletter list. Give 9 pieces of content before asking for something. And so whether that's media and content or podcast, user-generated content's a really good way to get people to like want to look and scan for their own face in the crowd. Things like that I think is huge.
All right, thanks everyone. That's it for right now. Next panel starts in 10 minutes. Coffee, Puppy Palooza, all the things you already know. There's also the round table in the other room, so just be mindful of that as well. Thanks everyone.
We're hosting the after party tonight. Come on over.
People at FestForum, if you drive a gray Honda Civic or a white Tesla, gray Honda Civic, white Tesla, please move your car. Puppy Palooza is going to tow your car. The puppies are coming. Please, gray Honda Civic, white Tesla.